Good morning, everyone! Welcome back to this game! So, I just returned to Lekunder to heal at the inn. As long as I'm in town, I should check for updates. Did you know there's a dragon in town? That's just bizarre. I didn't know that. Out of curiosity, were you aware that this town was attacked by dragons? Yeah, Thurlum came with his buddies, and the buddies ran off, but Thurlum has pretty much stuck around this whole time. You know, just FYI. Also FYI, did you know? I did a pretty terrible job of exploring this town at the start of the game. You see, there are items to find, and I only found one in a barrel that was over there, behind the tree. I suppose I should actually point it out. Yeah, the barrel stood out. I checked it. There was an item. But I haven't really taken the time to check other items or objects throughout town. And that is because, generally speaking, in RPG Maker 3, objects such as these are part of the buildings. This right here is all one object. So I figured that was going to be the case for pretty much every object in town, aside from that one barrel. Well, it turns out I was wrong. Hey, there are some jackboot berries here. We should take them to my friend Daktar. Yeah, some of these objects are not actually part of buildings, and therefore, I have missed some things. Like this right here. First off, this canopy, I'm 85% certain is part of the building, including the objects beneath it, but this barrel here is separate. Hey, there's a diet ale here. Had I been better about exploring town at the start of the game, I would not have needed to take the time to buy some items at the start. Alright, so there's two of the items I missed. There are two more things, and I will get to them as I talk to people. Starting with my favorite NPC in town, Dawn. Well, I say starting with, but we actually started with the guy in the inn. Dawn is next, though. I told everyone in town about that kind of monster Delrath. He's not a monster at all. Well, he looks kind of scary, but he's got a hard old gold. He has a fine bagel shop, too. You don't have much dialogue, but I just love the progression as you make friends with Delrath. Dawn told me that a nice manticore has a bagel shop down the road. That's kind of strange, don't you think? I seem to have talked to this person at just the right time that the person over there is stuck in a walking animation. And yeah, that is kind of strange, but I love it. You okay there? Don told me about that manticore and his bagel shop down the road. As long as he keeps him to himself, it don't bother me none. I just hope he don't come into town. We should totally invite him. Wow, you got the wind crystal! Just one more to go. As soon as you get the final crystal, bring all four of them here. Okie dokie. I love, by the way, how this town seems to be undergoing character development. And kind of development in general. Like, our collection of the crystals is meaning something, even if we can't use them yet. And not to mention, just a general awareness of my quest so far. I heard that a manticore opened up a bagel shop down the road. Of all the silly things, he'd better be a pretty good chef if he wants to compete with my husband Darren. On that note, probably a good thing that Delrath and Higgins didn't go with opening a pizza parlor. Otherwise, there would be really competition. Alright, we got a bunch of treasures to give away. Wow! That's a lovely gold harp you found. I'll give you 500 gold for it. Honestly, if I could, I'd just give them for free. I don't need the money anymore. Great! Here's 500 gold. Whoa! A diamond ring! I'll give you 500 gold for it. Could you offer more? Is this, like, the most you're willing to offer? That's a nice painting. I'll pay 450 gold. A bronze helm. Very nice. I'll give you 300 gold for it. Hey, a silver trophy. And it's from Lord Duffrey's collection. Amusing. I'll give you 350 gold for it. So I'm guessing 500 is the most that we'll be getting for things. That is the cap. Okay. I'll start with Kristana's house. Get a reminder of what we're going to be doing shortly. For the record, this side door on the church is just scenery. In fact, you can't actually make that door usable. Well, I mean, I suppose you could, but it wouldn't work the same way as normal entrances. Well, maybe you could. In a way, but not by default. Okay, so visit Smirch at the Forest Cave. Find Randolf in the Dragon Cave. It's atop the western mountain. Rescue Elandra. Yep, we'll be rescuing Elandra and getting the last elemental crystal. Now how about some advice for our trip there? Hello, Kristana. Would you like to see the future? Yep, hit me with it. Peers into a crystal ball. In the left branch of the Dragon Cave, Jareth will be in great danger. Keep him protected. In the right branch, Fibs will be in danger. In the middle branch, Glaisa will be in danger. The middle branch of the cave goes very deep. Gasp! There are mages! Mages everywhere! Don't tell Fibs. Alright, one more thing to do here in town. I'm going to go ahead and head to the armory to buy Glaisa's last piece of armor. Oh! By the way, the griffin feather. I found that in the tower? Yeah, I found that in the last episode, but I didn't really mention what it was. I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier. That is... Griffins are difficult to capture because they can fool traps into thinking they're not there. Yeah, so this is the item I was talking about earlier that does the same thing as the Mirage spell. So it's kind of actually surprising that traps don't come into play earlier in the game. Alright, Glaisa, here is the cuirass. 1 point of magic defense. That's ultimately all that's going to matter. Although, I have a strategy in mind for the next episode. where the physical defense will actually come into play. But that comes next time. Let me go ahead and sell our old armor, and we'll go ahead and do some exploration. Oh. Well, I was talking about going to the elemental caves, but I just remembered that I hadn't finished exploring town. Good thing I looked at my notes. Because, right here? Is this it? Yes. Hey, there's some flubba juice here. Old item, don't necessarily need it, but I just sold the piece of armor, so we'll carry it for now. And the last bit of stuff that I missed is right behind here. I noticed this well before, and I did in fact check it out, but there was nothing to it. However, right behind it is... Hey, there's 5 gold here. That is an early game amount of money. Alright, and that is all the items in town. I am 98.6% certain. Now, as for the actual exploration that I was talking about, in the last episode, I acquired a gold key. This key will allow us to get all the gated doors, unlock all the gated doors in the elemental caves, and also, I just realized, in the forest cave. So let's go ahead and head to those places real quick. So, in the deepest portion of the forest cave, we start traveling back up to find this locked gate. And, in fact, sure enough, we have unlocked it with our gold key. Gonna be some good items to find. Is that treasure chest floating in the air? That treasure chest is totally floating in the air. Just ever so slightly. Apparently 54 gold is not that heavy. A fern ring. Let's just go ahead and get rid of that flubba juice. The fern ring is a ring of small fern fronds. Increases magic defense, strength, magic power, and defense. With most of its strength going towards magic defense. That is not what I expected. I expected, like, a magic defense of 10. But having extra buffs in addition to the 5 from the leaf ring, that's actually pretty good. I mean, 2 points is not much. Like in the case of strength, that's 1 or 2 points of extra damage. Still though, in the long run, that's pretty good. Alright, that seems to be everything here. So, let's go ahead and move on. Let's head to the water cave next. Thinking on it, by the way, you know you're nearing the end of a game whenever you're finally able to unlock all the secret areas that have been locked throughout the game. I'm kind of excited to get these treasures. Alright. For example, that treasure. Could see that one right through the bars. What has been taunting us this entire time? Money. Money is enticing. More importantly, we're going to have something like that fern item. In this case, it is the wave ring. A ring of rushing water increases magic power and strength. That is not quite as good as the fern ring. I'll figure out who to equip this stuff on later. Next, we're going to go to the Wind Cave. The Mist Cave. No, Wind? Hold on, what is the place called? It is called the Windy Cave. I was close the first time. Alright, I'm assuming money and another accessory. It's too bad there's not, like, some sort of hidden enemy in these rooms. Something guarding these treasures. Something new and exciting to make things exciting. Hazing Ring. A ring of flowing mist. Increases strength and defense. Just one extra stat again. I'm beginning to feel like the Fern Ring is going to be the only outlier here. Alright, one more elemental cave to go. The Fire Cave. Also, this place is called the Lava Cave, not the Fire Cave. I am bad at remembering names. Alright, first is money. And our final accessory is the Lava Ring. That sounds potentially cool. A ring of magical lava increases defense and magic power. I wonder why it is that the Fern Ring is the only one that buffs other stats and not just two of them. The excitement of finding these treasures has kind of worn down, because I found the Fern Ring first, and these other rings are just not as good. In which case, maybe it's for the best that I don't have to fight anything for them. Oh, come to think of it, I forgot to talk to these two. Don told us about a nice monster who has a bagel shop down the road. He sounds really nice. For a manticore, that is. He's nice for anyone. I'm gonna visit his shop when I'm off duty. Don told me about a manticore who has a bagel shop down the road. Grunts. First dragons, now manticores. Bah! What is the land coming to? Peace? Friendliness? Getting along? I don't see anything wrong with that. Okay, let's go ahead and finally catch up with King Randolf King and Thurlum. King Randolf is reclining in his chair, sipping at a cup of tea while Thurlum munches on pepperoni pizza. Might I suggest, as an alternative, pineapple? There are several pizza boxes and a few mugs of ale on the table nearby. Thurlum gobbles a slice of pizza and takes a drink. This pizza is pretty good. Yeah, Darren is a great chef. He uses just the right amount of sauce. That is important. It could use a bit of sulfur, though, says Thurlum. Blinks. Sulfur? That doesn't sound very appetizing to me. You should try it sometime, says Thurlum. It's good. I'm not entirely sure that sulfur is good for human health. Or pig health, come to think of it. But now I'm kind of curious though what it actually tastes like. Does it have a taste? Isn't sulfur just like smoke? Well, now I'm curious. Is sulfur a tangible object? Well, as it turns out, sulfur is an object. I've always heard it in the context of, like, lava and the smell of sulfur. But what I'm wondering here is, what are the uses of sulfur? Well, there's the obvious answer, making sulfuric acid, and also fertilizer, and fungicide and pesticide. Yeah, definitely not edible for anything but fire-breathing dragons, I feel like. Anyway, there's a troll in the land of Dunzar. His name is Moofmoth. I love that name. He makes the best sulfur pizza. I have to fly out there to get it, though, because he doesn't deliver to the Dragon Cave. Yeah, the land of Dunzar is kind of far away. That would be quite a commute just to deliver a pizza. Maybe they need to hire a dragon. You know what he should do? Says the dragon thoughtfully. He should hire a griffin to run deliveries for him. That too. Griffins are pretty fast, and they can get past traps with ease. So I've heard. Yeah, that's a good idea. Nods. Although he might get whined at by some left-wing fringe group for racial profiling. Thurlum growls. Oh, don't get me started about those whiny, sniveling liberals. He snorts in disdain and shakes his head. Oh, you have left-wing fringe groups in the Dragonlands too, eh? Grabs a slice of pizza. Thurlum nods. All over the place, unfortunately. Always complaining about this or that. Why should the big dragon be allowed to beat us up and take our stuff? I don't know, that sounds like a pretty legitimate question. It is physically causing harm to others, which is kind of wrong no matter how you look at it. Well, because I'm tougher than you moron! Duh! They complain it's not equal opportunity. Yeah, and someone please remind me why I should give them a break. What makes them so special? Good point, nods. That is not a good point. Here, how about this? What makes you so special, Thurlum? Of course it is, says Thurlum. Look, if you're a wimp, chances are you're gonna get your tail handed to you. That's just how things work. Might makes right. Wrong. Well, not always. I mean, you don't really have to beat them up, do you? Well, no, says Thurlum. I don't have to. But that's not even the point. Why should they get special treatment just because they're wimps? I mean, it wouldn't really be special treatment if they also don't beat you up and steal your stuff. That makes it equal. Ah, I see, nods. I think I understand what you're getting at. I'm not necessarily a fan of this conversation. If the wimps get special privileges, next thing you know, the tough guys are gonna start asking for special treatment too. They already are! Look at Thurlum! Exactly, says Thurlum, lifting a talon. Not that we need it or even want it, but, you know, I could ask for a special privilege of beating up a wimp because I'm a tough guy. Which brings us right back to square one. Not that I'd ask for such a moronic privilege, says Thurlum, because I'm not a wussy liberal. But yeah, it's crazy what some of those liberals ask for. Usually, I just try my best to ignore the whining and beat them up. The dragon grabs up a slice of pizza and munches on it. We have left-wing groups in Valencia who complain about taxes. The monarchy isn't fair. King Rossdale should step down from his throne and let someone else be king for a while. All manner of things. That's not right, says Thurlum with a shake of his reptilian head. Well, what can you do? There's all kinds of crazy ideas floating around. Lucky for me, Lekunder is mostly a conservative town. That's good, says Thurlum with a nod. I can't stand liberals. He grabs up another slice of pizza and munches on it. But getting back to this racial profiling nonsense. A phoenix can rise from the ashes of his own demise. He's got the ability. Why not use it? I think Alicia sells phoenix feathers in her emporium. Yeah, says Thurlum. I say, pluck the phoenix's feathers and put them to good use. They'll grow back. It's not like we're mortally wounding him. The creature rights activists shouldn't have anything to complain about. In fact, I'd bring you to the phoenixes for that very purpose. Have a phoenix farm or something. That's not a bad idea. Grabs a slice of pizza. Yep, says Thurlum. The phoenixes have the ability. Let's put it to good use. Same with griffins. They'd make great pizza delivery guys. Okay, this I don't think would count as racial profiling. I mean, griffins can fly and trolls can't. It's as simple as that. Next time I'm out at Moof Moff's pizza parlor, I'm going to ask him if he's ever thought of that. Yeah, that might help him to expand his business too. Sure would, says Thurlum. Then there's the big undead issue that the wusses just love to whine about. Why do those guys get to come back from the dead? That's not fair. Whine, whine, whine. It's all really annoying. The dragon grabs his mug of ale for a drink, then grabs up another slice of pizza. Well, I'm glad that you're a conservative, dragon. The people should be okay with that when I hand over my kingship to you. Actually, I'm more of a totalitarian, says Thurlum. Oh. I guess that'll be okay too. I'm not sure it is. I heard the totalitarian movement is really popular with the necromancers and undead guys in the Far East, says Thurlum. But these crybaby liberals have got to go. If you're a liberal, you gotta go. And hippies too. If you're a hippie, you gotta go. There go a couple more IQ points down the drain. I'll be waiting outside. Oh, hi, Kristana. We were getting kind of hungry, so I took a break from reading Thurlum's note. How goes your ill-fated quest? Asked Thurlum with a smirk. Still haven't fallen prey to the monsters? I'm almost impressed. Almost, huh? So you weren't really actually expecting much of them. We're a lot tougher than you think. But don't worry, Thurlum. Your time is coming. Real soon. Looks at Thurlum. If they do, by chance, get captured by monsters or something, could you go out there and rescue them? Thurlum blinks. Why are you asking me? Well, you know your way around the Dragonlands, right? And you look pretty tough. It probably wouldn't be very difficult for you. Oh, alright, says the dragon reluctantly. I suppose it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I really should find out what happens when you get a game over in this game. Please don't bug me, Kristana. I'm reading Thurlum's note. Yeah, you go ahead and do that. For now, it is morning. We have been up literally all night. I'm gonna go ahead and take a break, and next time, we're headed to the final dungeon. The endgame hype is real. Oink!